In my daily working life as a professor here at Politecnico di Milano, while walking through the corridors, I can sometimes hear conversations among students. Imagine a group doing project work and the girl is leading it by coding quickly on her laptop. But out of the blue, a male classmate says, "You're too pretty to code, let me relieve you." Maybe in his intention this is a compliment, but no, this is exactly an example of a gendered microaggression. With the benefit of the doubt, the aforementioned scenario might well have been unintentional. "You are too pretty to code." It is not openly sexist, but it is not just a compliment. The final result is a micro-invalidation of the girl's competencies, especially active among the present peers, and it can, in the long run, diminish and disvalue her identity. Another example of a frequent form of gendered microaggression in the workplace is being called by your first name and not by your professional title or family name, while in the same room men are called by name and surname or by remarking their professional title. It has also been observed that in classrooms, male students are more frequently called on to speak or answer questions by their teachers than female students are. The hidden message in these microaggressions is that women's ideas and contributions are less worthy than those of their male colleagues. Note that in contexts where women are underrepresented, such as in most classes of engineering and technology, speaking up for female students is even more difficult. So leaving room and encouraging everyone to contribute is of utmost importance. But what exactly are microaggressions? According to Su, they are defined as intentional and unintentional insults, invalidations, and assaults based on gender and are most frequently perpetrated against women and girls. Even if defined also as targets LGBTQI+ individuals and other minorities. Furthermore, it is important to understand that any microaggression alone may be minimally impactful, but when they continuously occur throughout a lifespan, their cumulative nature can have major detrimental consequences. Let's reflect again on Su's definition. Firstly, micro does not refer to being small or harmless, but to its subtle nature of seeming so, and the fact that they are brief, hence micro in duration. Gender microaggressions share commonality with sex-based harassment, as they both derogate an individual based on their gender. There are mainly three types of microaggressions: micro-assault, micro-insult, and micro-invalidation. A microassault is the more explicit type of microaggression, and it includes deliberate and intentional slights or insults, abusive language, or discriminatory actions with the explicit intention to emotionally hurt the person who is the target of the action itself. For example, when you are in the middle of an animated group discussion and the speaker addresses you with "shut up, bitch," or "go back to the kitchen." Second type, micro-insults, refers to subtler comments or behaviors that unintentionally denigrate women, just like when you are called by name and not by a professional title, or in a meeting you are asked to take notes, even if you are more competent and senior than other male colleagues. "You know, women are more methodical in taking notes," would often be the comment proposed alongside with this kind of request. The last type is maybe the most dangerous and subtle one. Micro-invalidation is in fact defined as the set of comments or behaviors that denying women experience dealing with gender discrimination. Have you ever heard about gaslighting or mansplaining? Have you ever thought about them as a form of microaggression? Gaslighting is a subtle form of negation of the reality that a person is experiencing, invalidating their lived experience dealing with discrimination and making the person doubt themselves. Sexism in the recruitment process, it is not possible. Sexism is a thing of the past. Or it was not harassment, it was just a joke, you are too sensitive. Mansplaining happens every time a man is explaining to a woman something in which she is more expert or competent than him. It frequently starts with sentences like, "Darling, let me explain," or "Maybe you are not aware that," well, yes, you are normally aware of that. We have seen that microaggressions in every form are common in women's lives. But are you able to decode them? By nature, they can be very subtle, and you can notice it just later. So ask yourself, even later, did it bother me? If the answer is yes, then it was probably a microaggression. I am also sure that from a different perspective, you are wondering if you ever did perpetrate a microaggression yourself. The answer is probably yes, as they are rooted in the power dynamics of society, in our hidden biases and stereotypes, even the unconscious one, so that they can be unintentional. The fact that you are asking yourself how to recognize them, to avoid perpetuating them, is a very good starting point. Let me introduce you a useful model when you are in doubt. The so-called 2I model. The first I stands for intention. What are you willing to communicate with this sentence? The second one is impact. How can this sentence be received by the person that will receive it? What about if I share the appreciation for how beautiful a colleague is in a meeting? It can be inappropriate, trigger discomfort, since it is out of context. She is there to be appreciated as a professional, not to be judged by men's eyes. And now I ask to male listener, try to figure out the reverse scenario. How would you feel if this would happen to you? Pointing out your physical aspect rather than your ability and working skills in a job-related scenario. I hope we have made clear that microaggressions are not so micro, that they are continuously perpetuated in front of us, to us, and in our communities. Learning how to decode them is the first step to avoid perpetuating these behaviors, and learning to call them out loud to condemn them, whether they are directed to us or to others.